I
Apart
said, I just
5 minutes, maybe.
I did what's that?
I was going to say, I think we've been apart for 5 minutes. I
Oh,
went
since
to
you've
go
been
get-
over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We're live, but we're not. Nobody's
No.
here yet.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
So, how's Denmark?
It's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. Everybody here, nobody's stressed out. Everybody,
Really?
yeah, really calm, and it's beautiful. So you can go from a beach to like a farm to a forest in
It's enchanted.
10 minutes. Yeah, it's very enchanting. So
Well, Grace has a big smile on her face.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just getting better and better, stronger and stronger, deeper and deeper. It's just beyond any words that it's just like everything that you used to have these and those words for this and that. It's just like it's nothing. It's just
Right.
Just do it justice. It's so potent, and every day is getting more potent and more soul recognition and very magnetic.
Yeah, very magnetic for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I can definitely see the difference on Grace.
Yes, you can. Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. Definitely. Well, and you guys picked a very powerful time to make the connection too. I'm talking about the connection the first time, the connection in Egypt, the connection in Denmark.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
I think people get confused, in my opinion, and I really don't know what it looks like. So I'm really not one to be talking, but I think any connection on the earth of the that has a substance and the degree of strength that's very natural, right? It's not like something you have to work on. It's there, but I think these relationships, whatever they be they romantic or not, they carry the potential for some very powerful contributions as far as a joint collaboration too, which I think a lot of people forget because we get caught up in the romance. But the romance to me is really the icing on the cake. So, everything about these types of connections, if they are romantic, defy conventional wisdom. In so many ways, they're just an expansion or an amplification of one's soul.
Yeah.
And so I just think that it's taken on a new meaning. Obviously, for us, it's taken on a new meaning, but it's extraordinary to experience the level of the expansion of the connection itself, the couple, and then the potential power, creative abilities, and the intel is just coming in, like I'm sure you guys are experiencing. We'll talk about it, but it's pretty interesting. And so for you guys to be doing this in the middle of all this, whatever you call it, all this like this, what is it? This ill-intended or program-intended stuff that's going on, you guys to be moving so freely, I think says a lot too. It says a lot too. That's how I felt when we got the download in March about Morgan. It made total sense to me. I said, you got to go now. There's never going to be a good time. So I think part of any movement that's occurring on the earth right now, be it an individual that's just following their guidance, and I've met a lot of them in the last month, or a couple maneuvering, these geographical visitations are important too. I'm sure you know that. But enough of that. Why, Ryan, does Grace have such a big smile on her face?
I think she said just, yeah, I don't know. We felt immediately when I got here and we came together, it was just different. Like there was a big up level, and it's hard to put into words, but it just seemed like everything expanded, and then just being together physically for 9 days and experiencing so many different things, and just little things every day, like cooking together yesterday. We went down, bought fresh fish and vegetables and cooked together, and just, put our love into the kitchen and just everything, and then seeing the country, and it's great.
What is important is, of course, also that there was a lot of that many people are going through now, the shedding of the limited self, all those, the illusionary self is forced to go now, to give space for soul. Soul is kicking ass.
Yeah.
Just wants to get in now, so whatever's in the way will just does come up, does show itself, and we just have to deal with it. And we have had few things,
for sure,
were very important, and but we are, and that's so amazing with us, that we really deal with the things almost immediately. I'm the kind of person, I observe. I don't speak first because I want to check in with myself that I don't project something. And when I notice there is a pattern, then I open my mouth, because I don't want to kind of draw something on top on him and saying like this. And so I let it go on so and so long, whatever it is that needs to be seen, that he has a chance to see it himself. Because if I immediately say, hey, what's going on, this and that, then he wouldn't, there's not an openness at this point. So it's kind of just letting things just coming up. Yes, okay. Yeah. And then, but then kind of the energy accumulates, and then we can, address it, name it, clear it, and so on. And so it's really about soul presence, a lot about soul presence now. And having all those conditioning, which is not only from our personal life, I saw also Morgan posted about this, the distorted love beliefs and all that. But it's a lot with the collective also, and all our, of course, all our previous things. The thing is with Ryan is that Ryan has actually never, I've been married twice, have children, I've been through the whole shit. And Ryan has never actually lived together with a person. So ego naturally comes up. Yeah, I got my rhythm, I got my kind of, it's a bit very much in the ego, because it's a bit like me and my needs, and so that came up. And to understand that it's just like a conditioning, and really to feel into what do I really want. And so a lot of layers, all sorts of things that has been falling away. But the difference between Egypt now and then now for us is, of course, that Egypt, there was so many abstractions. And here we are really in our energy. So it's really high powered, non-stop. Most people would run away, because everything comes up, you can't not just say, oh, I'm checking out now, it's just like, so when you're kind of non-stop together and you are in the vortex, so to say, because our energy together is just, obviously, it's like a vortex. So it's a magnifying glass, and it just, everything shows up, whatever we both need to look at. So, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But being open to look at it, and then move through it quickly, talk about it, not, just sit in things, I think has helped a lot. And yeah, as we've shed it a little bit, we've kind of grown deeper, and it's been great.
Yeah, and your inner child really came out. Also.
Yes. Yeah. So Grace took me to the beach, which is amazing here. And yeah, the inner child is something that I've been working on, and just, it really came out playing in the water together and just diving and letting loose. And we were just laughing. I don't know. It was amazing, but I felt the shift. I got emotional out there. I mean, I was in the water and was crying, and it was just very moving. And I felt something really ancient between us out there, and could remember when we had done that before, in the past, and just the playfulness of everything.
So it's a lot about coming into that, especially for you and also for me, but coming into that playfulness, the spontaneity and all that. And up when we were at another beach, I actually provoked you a bit, so I actually just threw out all my clothes, in the middle of the beach, and just say, come on, let's jump in. We had no swimsuits. Normally I wouldn't do that necessarily, but just kind of need to be kicking him a bit, provoke. And then you came in, and then we totally enjoyed it, so it was really great, And sometimes we just have to jump over our own shadows. And
yeah, exactly. And I can be way too serious sometimes, and I need to just be more playful. Yeah, really, it is. It's the inner child, and so that's been a lot of this week, and not, like Grace said, presence. That's presence, really just working on always being in presence all the time, and not. I guess I'm seeing patterns a lot better, and not just getting into the mind and sort of drifting here and there, and then that causes a distortion really quick, especially when we come together. Like she said, the energies are crazy, and it just doesn't work to be anything but centered. So it's been incredible.
You're just laughing all the time.
No, well, you said a lot, and of course, with the way the information moves now, I can pick up a lot more than's being said.
Yeah.
Like for instance, he comes in the water, and then he comes in the water, and but I don't think people realize. I mean, this is just my opinion. And you guys, I mean, obviously, you guys have a different. If you look at the linear, you have a different journey, which is amazing. I mean, I look at Shakina Rose and Tim Smith. There's a lot of them. The longevity has its place, but time in this transition we call ascension really isn't what it was, because you can have as much substance, let's say, in two energies coming together for 3 months as one that's been together for 10 years, because we're talking about the expansion of what you're calling the soul. That field is expanding by individuals and couples and other two or more, situations, groups. But to me, if you look at this whole ride the last 10 years, regardless of which one of us, which we're going to point to, the real sign of growth is self-awareness, because now the energy doesn't allow you to know something and not deal with it. You can't be an asshole.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. That is the thing. Really, the rest is kindergarten. I mean, you have to, and that's for many of us. We have actually done the job. We've got the insight. We know what to do. And now it's like, you can't keep on just letting the ego just play around with you. You have to say, fuck that shit. I know what's going on. I know my program. I know my imprints. I know this stuff. I just haven't got time for it. It's much more fun to really be present, create a new story, and just, and being in that creative flow, and just, and that's a lot of being aware every time you come into acting in that kind of restricted manner. You're not spontaneous. You are too much in the mind, like too much, how do I appear? What do others expect? How am I to behave? Whether it's towards your partner, whether it's just how you appear, but just catch yourself immediately when this happens and just get into your heart, because the moment you're there, it's ego taking over. You're on that old hologram. So it's just like immediately recenter yourself, get back into your heart, so soul can really come in. And and then this playfulness automatically comes. It's just, and it's fun. It's juicy, it's delicious. It's like, there's no
Are we gonna have to run a disclaimer on this show? My God, the sexual energy on this show is just off the chart.
It is.
Oh, and I had to have a very active.
The soul is just so magnetic. It's soul. It's a tantric energy between our souls, and it's just like awesome. It's really. I mean, it blows our minds. It's just like.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
And it's not about, it's not about penetration or making love. You can just hold hands, you can just gaze, and you're just like, oh my God, what's going on here? And it's just like, the energy just go off the charts. And so it's really nothing to do with sex, at all. Though
you're preaching to the choir. I know, believe me, I know. But sure, that's a whole other. What I was going to say was that, and you're perfect. This is a perfect example. Is even if you just look at the individual journey, how intense it's gotten in 2021, how much it's expanded in all ways, and it's a totally new world. These types of any connection between two people. It's always a evolving thing, like everything else. But to me, the greatest value is the presentation of shadow. It's the mirror, because there's no place that you have more potential, more pleasure, more pain. Yeah. And those are good points of context, good polarities of context. There's no place that you're going to find that on the physical earth. There really isn't, in my opinion, because you have two souls as opposed to one, right? But there's no place you're going to find a quicker, field of potential, a bigger field of potential, or even a quicker path, because it requires that, it does require that you be present. And the great thing I like about it are the aha moments on both sides. Yeah. Because we all have this conditioning of it's either them or me, or it's never them, it's always me, or whatever stage we're at in that whole thing. And this type of thing can really, really be a fast track and bring you home real quick, because of the level of intensity, trust, love, openness, and blindness. It's just an amazing thing, and I think you're going to see more and more and more examples of this, which to me is really the individual basically doubling their field in some way that doesn't make sense in human mathematics or physics or that type of computation. But I'm happy for you. I mean I'm trying not to laugh. It's a beautiful thing. But I'm so glad that you're so open about. But isn't it an atmosphere of childlike wonder?
Yeah, it is. It is. Isn't it? It is. And it's just like, I don't know. We look at each other and we just like, oh my God, there's just no words. It's just like it's a fascination, and it's just pure soul. It's just. it's like nothing else exists, you know, and yeah, it's amazing. But of course, the layers also come up as we talked about, and whatever we need, whatever is in the way of soul presence, because the soul is coming in so strong now. It's coming in so strong, and it's just like, you know, it's like soul hasn't got time for bullshit anymore. Let's just say it like that. You know, we have come to this point, you know, I mean, if we've done the inner work, we know of our, we know our story, right?
Yeah.
We know our story, we know the role we played and all this stuff, you know. And it's just like, because we also talked a lot about, which was an issue, a lot about being in the process. I have watched throughout many years, I've been on this ascension path like 25 years, whatever, I don't count it any longer. But there are some people that get caught up in the process of, I have to get there. There's still something. I still have to improve. I still have to fix something. I still have to do this and that, you know, and they keep looking, you know, they keep looking instead of, if you've done the work, you know, just get on with living, get on with loving, get on with having fun. You know, you have to realize, you know, and that is that ego can really, that's a pitfall. You can get into that pitfall where ego keeps on trapping you in believing, I'm still not yet there. I say, not to say that you ever finish, but you can expand love, you can expand your consciousness and all that, but no longer than allowing ego to run the show, you know, and really getting into presence. And that's also when the very deepest layers come up, because when you come into presence, then these layers come up, because as long as ego is in charge, you're playing around the bush, you know. You're playing around the bush and you're trying it's all about avoiding, resisting, and trying not to show, preventing things from happening. So it's all about preventing, avoiding, and doing that mode. And there can't be no cosmic flow, you know, there can't be, so it's all restricted, you know. And so when you dare to open up and being in that soul presence, whatever needs to come up will come up, and it will smash up and come up, you know. But if you're willing to look and you support each other, you know, and really, okay, I'm there for you, and really just listening, just being there, listening, you know, let the other one just show up and speak, then the thing shifts so fast, you know.
Yeah, it was the same. That was the same in Egypt too.
Yeah.
And even with being in Giza, where we stayed, you could see the pyramids. So to come together for the first time with our energy and then be at the plateau was like, it was
that's a perfect example what I was talking about earlier, because it's just like what happened with us when we got this download in March. Like your Egypt was the mission overrided everything else, like the romance at the human physical level. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like the romance at the human physical, from the human physical perception, was the low priority.
It was
because there's this, and this is what you're talking about with continued experiences of deeper soul recognition and that type of thing. Because even like from the beginning, you can ask Morgan. In all other dimensions, it's so obvious, the information that's come in, but it doesn't. I even got this like 10 days ago, like 2 weeks ago, and I even drew something. I was given this like download thing, which is really crazy because this kid ended up Melina's. It was Morgan's octahedron that came in like 3 or 4 days ago. She wrote about it, but anyway. What happens is the even it's a very much like it parallels our individual journeys. The last aspect to come into alignment is the human aspect. So when these downloads are coming in and people are being told, and I've met a lot in the last month. You need to move here. You need to sell your stuff and go there. You need to do this. You need to do that. The human, it's not comfortable. The human's going like, what are you talking about? But there's also plenty of evidence, people like yourself, of the human aspect going, okay, you know what? I know this is the way we're supposed to go. I'm going to go with it. I don't fully understand it. I'm just going to have to trust. I hear so many people saying that, but I think that's where the new magic is actually created, where we step into that let's just say that hand of providence, that invisible hand, the guidance that we've gotten over the years, where we just say, I'm going with it for once and for all. So it's a powerful time to be having these rendezvous. I'm surprised you guys haven't got arrested.
Yeah.
Well, it's different here than Egypt, right? I mean, we can be a lot more free here in Denmark, and everybody is just, I've never seen more happy, laid back, non-stressed people. And it's just really nature everywhere. Yeah. I mean, it's so different from, not that Denver is crazy, but it's like a different world here. Every day I'm pretty amazed by just the difference, and there's definitely a different energy here too. But I think for where I've been at, I really need to be here, and just everything here is kind of helping and healing, and it's a fit. Like I'll be here. So
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. How have you guys even seen any other people?
Have
y'all been in the house the whole time? I'm kidding.
We were like the first night, and then we toured. I mean, we went up to a couple little towns on the coast, and I met family.
That's what I was gonna. That's really what I was getting at. I mean, that's what I was getting at. I was like, hey, how has it gone meeting friends and family?
I think it's been great. That stuff doesn't make me too nervous, but there's always a little bit of
I mean, you're in another country.
Yeah.
You're under, I'm sure, knowing Grace and her demonstrative contribution to humanity. Her family's well aware of who she is after all these years. So and then for you to come all the way over and have the type of energy you do, I bet Grace, that might have been a bit of a surprise to some of your family and friends, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, my family, they are actually all open to all this stuff. I mean, let's not say they don't know the entire narrative. Some of them do know. Two of my sisters, they know the entire narrative, whatever you believe in. But I mean, about the cabal and all this stuff, about the whole pandemonium, hoax, ridiculous absurdity that we're living in right now. But all are open, spiritually open. I would say my mother, she's an old shaman, and she was very, she was already, when I was a teenager, kind of, using a pendulum for her food. Shall I eat this? Shall I eat that? And did yoga and meditation and stuff. Later, she kind of closed down. But it's like, my mother used to say to me, Grace, you came from the stars. She got 5 children. And I was the smallest one. And she said to me, you came from the stars, with such conviction, I don't know, why. I think it was maybe we have agreed on it for me to be reminded. I always stood outside and I looked and I knew I came from out there. I just wondered which one of them is it, because I kind of came here as an awakened starseed. I knew, that I had come here to make change extraterrestrials and reincarnation, all this stuff was all normal to me. It wasn't anything, oh, do you believe in incarnation? You know, like it was just all normal, you know, as normal as there's a tree, you know, there's a house. It's just normal, you know. So in my family, I've always been very, well, I was like typical the starseed. I was like the black sheep, very much so. But eventually all got into the spiritual path, and they all pretty open, and they all loved Ryan. But the most interesting part, is my children, because you know, Ryan, let alone haven't lived together with a woman ever, but then suddenly meeting my two teenage kids, who are of course very open, because they were brought up, you know, as starseed children. You know, they know the whole lot. You know, I always spoke to them as souls. You know, I didn't speak to them like adult to child. I always speak from soul to soul, you know, so they you know, they know the whole lot. They know the whole narrative. They know everything. I haven't because to me, I can't lie to my children. I have to just say it as it is, you know. Also, I never said about Santa Claus, you know, I couldn't say, you know, it's just a guy, that he's real, you know. I was kind of, it's kind of a little game, you know, because so in a way I was just straight with my children. But anyway, what I was wanting to say was I was still very excited to see how they would get on with it. And it was immediate, just like there was no, you know, no like feeling awkward or feeling maybe timid or whatever.
Wait. I just want to understand this, and I just woke up. That's why I needed 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to sleep now until 7 in the morning. Ever since she went over there, I don't know what's happening. But so it's taken me a while to put this together. Now I remember. Do you have a boy and a girl? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I do remember the girl, and for some reason I thought that was the only one. But now I remember going back. Is the boy younger?
No, he's older. He's older. He will be 17.
Oh, so
he has birthday the day before Ryan, actually.
Yeah, I'm the 18th.
Okay. So you're living in a house with your children.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God! Hang on, let me get this. So they know. I know you
live with us. He's got fucking balls, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got fucking balls.
So, Grace, I have news for you. Any man that would be with you would have fucking balls. Okay?
Yes, with or without children, with or without children.
Yeah. But you mean to tell me that you're living with these awake teenage kids? This man comes, which I'm sure they know you've been engaged with and all that, you know, in Egypt and all that, comes all the way over and is living in your house, under the same roof in mom's bedroom, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Wow, that's
and but you know what, Todd? It's so natural. It's just like I didn't feel any like sometimes children, they can be like, what should I say? It could be a bit awkward,
closed off or a little standoffish.
A bit awkward.
Oh my God, especially with teenagers.
So natural. There was no. It was like there was no borders. No, it was just like floating. Just
I mean, it'd be pretty hard to find an issue with Ryan's energy. You know, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, because you would have, I mean, seriously, teenagers are so mercurial. I mean, you just never know what you're going to get sometimes, even if you've had the same thing with them. I mean, you're talking about adolescence here. So, I mean, if one frequency had been off, you would have known about it. They would have let you know right away.
My children are, if they, especially Beluga, if she don't like someone,
that's what I mean.
You'll feel it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. These kids, they're
they love him. They love him. I tell you, they love him, and they
I bet.
Leah, he's just crazy about you. I mean, I knew that before you came. I just could. And actually, my relationship to my son, interesting enough, has kind of been through a healing process.
Yeah.
Since I got together with Ryan last year. And I think it's because of, the disappointment of me divorcing his father. And, there's been a lot of anger. Of course, we've talked about it. We have, we've healed it together. We have, it's many, many years ago now. I've been celibate for 11 years, so it's a long time ago. That
Still?
Left, no longer. So
I'm sorry. This telepathic field that we're in now, you could plug into something. It's almost like, whoa, too much information here. No, I'm kidding. I just had to throw that in there. I'm just playing with you.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for you both.
It's just awesome. It's just, we are just like, oh, thank you. There's just no words. It's just, it's.
And the dog likes me too.
Yeah,
which
the
is
dogs.
a big one.
Yeah.
He's very. Yeah.
He's normally very jealous. With me and my children, if the children kind of come and cuddle with me, he starts like, ooh. I won't tell about the other night. No, we don't.
Yeah,
yes, go ahead. Tell us.
I don't care.
No.
What happened?
No.
What happened?
Anyhow, but it's just like.
Oh, what is it? You can't do that.
He's normally very jealous, the dog, when the children come, when we cuddle in the sofa and something. But even the dog, he's so accepting.
Yeah.
And then even the other night where you were pretty rough.
Pretty aggressive. Yeah.
Well, who were you aggressive with?
In the bed.
Oh.
And normally a dog would maybe
verbal.
think, what is going on?
Because I'm a stranger, so I'm coming in, and he might take that as like who is this aggressive guy who's very verbal? He's very,
but he feels the energy, he feels the love. That's the thing. So, and he's been used to that. He knows Ryan because this last year we have been always like when we meet on Zoom, we connect and we merge, and he feels the energy, always when I'm doing healing, when I'm doing activation or sessions with clients, he's always right next to me. So, he loves the energy, when it's love frequency, he's just like,
It's a male dog.
Yeah.
Is it male?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he was used to the love frequency, and then when that frequency transformed to an aggressive love frequency, he was probably swimming in that energy.
Aggressive, but it was like
I would say lovingly intense.
Yeah, lovingly intense. Let's say it like that.
No, we get the we know not. Yes, we know. We got it. So the dog is connected. I mean, this is how it works. It's this connectivity that's occurring in so many ways. But I could see with that dog, which is really a soul, right?
Yeah,
it's connected to grace in that way.
He's very protective to me.
He literally follows her everywhere and is constantly. If she goes, anywhere, he just is kind of has separation anxiety. He's very attentive, and so it's different when I come here, and he's been really accepting of me, which is great, but definitely adores Grace. Like I haven't seen.
I always said I want my divine consort must be like my dog. It worships me, and it's just like,
Yeah.
And that's how Ryan is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but with the children, that was really amazing. I must say, because also I could feel you felt totally natural.
Yeah,
it was
I
just
didn't have not any anxiety or nervousness.
It was just
whatsoever.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, it was very, very calm, and
it's been 9 days now. Is that right? 9-10 days.
Is it Monday today? Yeah,
I have no idea what day it is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been 9 days.
So, how often do you come up for air?
Well, I don't know. Yesterday was pretty much most of the afternoon after cooking.
Your parents, your parents, your children must be wondering where the hell y'all are at.
Yeah, they're pretty independent.
Yeah, but they only
Yeah.
came. They only came yesterday. That's the thing, Todd. They had been. They had been in Germany with their father.
Yeah.
So we went to get them yesterday at the train station, and so it has just been yesterday and today.
Yep.
And then, so we thought the first time they meet, you know, we planned it so that Ryan will meet them like in the end, towards the end of the time. So they had like a few days just to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Because when Ryan will come over and stay for longer times, it's like the initial, just, you know, getting to know each other. And
then I guess that gave us 6 or 7 days just together where we could travel and I could see the country and we could, just explore and not really
being alone in the house was a good idea.
And just be in the flow. We just kind of
I would imagine
whatever we want to do.
Probably it's a good idea that you guys are in a closed location because there's no I'm having a good time. It's quite impressive, you know. It's quite impressive. Yeah, because the energy you guys are putting out, it's like it's like what you're starting to see out there. It's like this. It's almost like I don't give a fuck. You know, it is what it is. Now, whether it's somebody trying to BS you or it's a situation like you're in, it's just like, hey, I'm just going to go with this thing. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it's really about, and that's also what we spoke a lot about, soul presence, but also a lot about allowing just things to be. You know, we don't have to, things has to be in a certain way or to fit in a certain scheme or whatever. It's just like total surrendering into the moment and just allowing the you know, coming into this beingness of being in the cosmic flow.
And that's
not making so many thoughts about, you know, how does it appear or what does anyone think, you know. I don't care.
That's what I'm talking about, that I don't give an F anymore. Yeah, it's like I can tell you, the day I can get out of this country and I get to Australia, I don't give a shit what the laws are or the rules are. I won't be. And I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just saying this is my own thought on what we're talking about, which is I don't give an F. Like, you know what, these and that's why, like, what you're doing and what we did when Morgan went back, there's really no good point to jump off of. No. Right? Like, you can't if you look at what's being thrown upon us through via an overlay, you know, with this whole COVID and vaccines and all that crap, it's creating this apparent constrictions, you know, like on the thoroughfares of our experience. It's limiting us, but I think the way that we counter that is to make these moves, and y'all are a perfect example. And I wonder, there's got to be more and more and more of this happening all over the world. There has to be. It only makes sense. It only makes sense. How do you find oneness with a group if you can't find it first with another, right? I mean, that's a big, big proposition to practice, enable, and embody oneness between you and another soul. You're already at a disadvantage if you're the parent or the child, you know. Brother, sister, anything that has any type of contemporary type of characteristic, like siblings or competitors or whatever you want to call it. But to have it in pursuit of an expansion of your soul and have it occur during that journey, because like you said, Grace, you're not there. It's always like this, right? You know, and to engage that while you're through your in your own journey of self-expansion is mind-boggling. Yeah, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. The more you surrender, you know, the more magic happens, and it's just like you're just in awe, you know. Wow, it's just wow.
Yeah, and the flow, just not, especially for me, that because I can sometimes be a little linear with certain things, and just to be, we just do whatever we want. We wake up, everything flows, and it's just, yeah. And then the energy here, it's so calm, and it's just, everything fits. It's just.
I've got some friends. Yeah, I just realized that I've got several friends, good friends that live in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't even make the connection. I knew Grace was in Denmark, but I just got to thinking like, well, that's right. You're in Denmark. That is a beautiful place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. The only thing about Denmark is just the winters are long, but so we have said, okay, we'll just go traveling in the winter as much as possible. Obviously, I'm limited because of my kids. But the thing is, my kids are getting so old now. I mean, I left when I was 17. I split when I was 17. Whatever, I don't know, whatever my son will be doing. And but when we were in Egypt, they were actually quite a long time alone. We can maybe take a bit extended time together, in the winter also.
Yeah.
So but we'll see. But we are
closer.
totally open, Todd. We have no idea what's going to happen. We had wanted that I actually go to the States, but at the moment there's still travel ban. Everything blocked. You can't do anything. So now we're kind of just turning it all around. Okay, now we just see that Ryan can come here. And so that's the next step but we are just so sure that there will be no way that this cannot happen, because it's the divine plan, so I mean, there will be solutions, there will be ways, because he will have to be allowed to work from home, from Denmark, not from the States. So that's kind of the next step, that we'll see how that will work. But then we'll have to get a bigger place where, because we realize the importance that Ryan, as well as everyone, Ryan keeps on saying, oh, I haven't been in a relationship for so long, I'm used to living alone. What about me? I've been celibate for 11 years. It's the same. I just have the kids, I have the kids. So it's new for all of us. Yeah, so it's really just about giving space to each one. And if Ryan needs a bit time in the morning, I'm like, I wake up like with a smile and I'm ready to, whatever. And he's kind of need like at least.
Yeah, I got to reset a little bit. Not every day, but
that's how Morgan is.
In the start, Todd, it was really hard for me because grumpy face there,
It's that they're still off planet. The first time we got together, I would get up and I would go outside and she'd be there and I'd just start talking. Okay. And she'd be like, can you please just leave me alone for a while? But I'm more like that now. Like I can't talk in the morning. So when that happened, it was very easy, but I was going to say something. You were talking about this. Oh, the space thing. There's a lot of intel that's come in to both of us, and some of it we've talked about, some of it we haven't. I'm finding that that for the most part, we're talking less and less about what's happening because we just know. Yeah. But one of the first things that we got in terms of that would say more of a collective mission-oriented characteristic was the dissolution of space. So there was part of the purpose was in our own contribution and service was to follow the guidance, because we're going to deal with eliminating space. And I think that one of the other things involving space, which really started to occur, and she was picking up on it. She's actually been picking up since I met her, which is 2 rooms, maybe 2 houses. And these are, of course, physical examples, but it's really a interesting thing to me because it's an energetic thing. Everybody has their own space.
Yes.
Even if you have a connection by whatever label you want to give it. And that space, I think we're kind of figuring out, what does that look like? Like, just as it doesn't make sense for two people like Morgan and I to be as connected as we are and then say, hey, we got to have to separate for a while. Okay. Because we're connected. It doesn't look conventional. And imagine if you have, I mean, like my ideal thing would be like a fairly, if you're going to think big, right? Like, have like our own bedrooms, our own offices, our own lounge area, and then our common area. You know what I mean? It's important for people to have their energy without interference. And if there is, because this has been the whole paradigm, if there is interference, then it's made from a conscious choice of consent.
Exactly, it's true. And the thing is, both Ryan and I, we actually have the same kind of need. I'm like, I can't stay around persons and normally too long. I need to retreat. I need to come back into my center. Otherwise, I get grumpy. I get annoyed. I get pissed off if it takes too long. It's just like I need to come back into my need to retreat. And we can actually be together. Actually, non-stop for 14 days. We were also in thing without coming into that you're getting shaky or you're getting annoyed or whatever. But we do acknowledge if we're going to live together, that we both have the need to sometimes retreat, to have our space. Maybe you need, certain stuff that he needs to do that, I need to do my stuff. He needs to do his stuff, and so we will give space to each other. I mean, not only emotionally, energetically, but also physically, that we might even, and that's why I say we'll need, before Ryan comes, we'll need to find a space, a house where we have a bit more space, where we actually, you will need your workspace, I'll need my workspace anyway. And as you said, maybe even a lounge area, whatever. And so that's very important, that we can really honor that, without, going in feeling like, why don't you want to stay with me? Or like, but it's just important to honor and to be honest and to communicate your own needs, when you need it, to just being very transparent. And the beautiful thing is that when you do that, then when you then come together, you come in set, because often when you're this deep merging, you kind of need, and we have felt that when we have been separated, there are times where you're kind of in the integration period. It might only be a day. It might only be a day. It might be half a day. It might even be 2 or 3 days where you're just integrating. So you're kind of, we can feel it's like the energy is like kind of just turned down a bit, where we have been just way up here and we are just merging so deeply and new aspects are coming in and we are just like expanding nonstop. And then after this, there's a period of integration where we can feel like, where at first we were like, hey, what's going on? Is something going on? No, it's just because we need time to integrate.
You have to. Yes. You have to. And then and things develop. I remember on the 7th, and things were normal, whatever that means in the ascension. And then the 7th came and I had this feeling of, oh, she just separated from me. Like, because we've done it before, but this was huge. And I was like, okay, well, I knew it in that moment, but it really wasn't her, it was us.
Yeah.
Like we were, and it was that during that week, all I can remember was hearing, you just need to lay down and shut the F up and just integrate. Well, that was going on for a lot of people, but you bring up a really good point too about what's happening, like say in a connection like this, while everything else is happening. Well, pretty much the community that we run in, if you get out here on this show and you listen to the comments or you're privy to the messages I receive and the emails, everybody's kind of feeling the same thing. As the days go by, there's more and more and more convergence. So there's no question that we're all feeling the fluctuations, and variations. But the same thing happens when you have two people. So it's like Morgan says, Morgan, quote unquote, will say, I am not always in alignment. How can I expect my relationship to always be in alignment? So if I'm not in alignment or I'm not in alignment, one or the other can say, hey, I don't have anything to say. One way or the other, I need to be alone. And that's just hey, I don't know how long. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And so on. But we have found that there has been an invaluable, it's been an invaluable part of our evolution, specifically to potent spikes in growth or potent elevations. Has been energetic separations, and they can be in the moment when we're connecting together, communing together, and they say, are you guys ready to expand? Are you willing to let each other go? Boom. Or it could be something that lasts 2.5 weeks, like in March, or it could be something that lasts 3 or 4 days, like this earlier this month. But they always bring everything that you surrender times 100, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. So it's really, really needed, but it's just sometimes you think like, where are you? I can't feel you. What's going on?
Exactly.
And you kind of, the mind tries to, is there something wrong? No, there's nothing wrong. It's just like, we just need time out, and it's really time to integrate, to calibrate, and being more the introspect, not so much us, but really also feel into your own and resetting on your own. And then you can go to the next level again. But you need those time in between. It just
absolutely
it doesn't work without it. Just doesn't
absolutely
work.
We did this. This actually occurred for us she left 3 weeks before Soulogy Fest. So this was all taken into consideration. But ultimately the choice is made for what is the best thing for that individual, each individual. You know what I mean? And that's really what we're talking about here. All of us, to thine own self be true. Right. And here's another thing about these relationships that are not in the same place, like on other sides of the world. There's a lot of good stress, bad stress. Like you getting on a plane to come see Grace, that's good stress, but it's still stress, right? The intensity of coming together is good stress. The second guessing when you're not feeling it, or like when these times you're talking about, that's stress. So there's all of that. So we go into to Sedona. I didn't know, unbeknownst to me, she had sent me all her energy. Now she's over in quarantine. She's being depleted, right? So it's two ends of the extreme, and it was quite a trip. For example, I was doing the best I could, given the circumstances she had, to be supportive and hold space, but I broke a couple of times. And I remember kind of learning the lesson of when things are out of alignment, don't try to hang on there and scratch and claw, because from my own perspective, I was telling myself, you know what, you're much better off saying, hey, I got to go, and catching, and dealing with that fallout than you are trying to hang on and engage the old energy, because we're all trying to let go of it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's true.
So what's next? What's next for you guys? Babies? Anything like that?
No babies.
No.
I'm kidding. We're in the same boat. Even if we could, we wouldn't. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've never.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. Yeah.
I like yours.
Like you did it right. Well, less energy now. So I just meant as far, because one of the things too that's been let's just say for lack of a better way, non-romantic, right? Because I don't think people understand these types of connections. There's a multi type of thing going on here. And there's some, let's just say like Soulogy, okay? So what I was getting at is there seems to always be, from what I can observe, some type of joint venture, some type of third energy that takes on some type of physical form. And it doesn't have to be necessarily something that you name, or it can actually just be the energy itself, because I've noticed that in some couples. But are you guys feeling that? Are you guys feeling that little dance starting?
I mean, we in terms of mission and stuff, I mean, we are not as far down the road as you and
well, you're still on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
You still can't keep your hands off each other. How are you gonna?
I don't see that ever stopping. But anyway, I mean, since day one, it's just like going like this. Yeah. But we are called to Egypt again. It's just like
really.
I keep having visions with us. The other day we were just lying there holding hands, and I saw like visions of, I mean, many pyramids, and there were palm trees, and I saw this kind of, it could have been from Atlantis or old Lemuria or whatever. I don't know if it's from the New Earth timeline, because I've often seen in visions that all the hidden pyramids are gonna raise and that they're gonna come up to the surface. So I don't know whether this was a future vision, whatever, but it was really beautiful. And so we are called to go to Egypt again. We need to exchange some codes, and it's a deep calling.
It's
very deep
very
calling.
Strong.
Yeah.
So probably December.
Yeah. Well, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And it's weird that you said that, because right when I asked you that question, I in my head, I went, don't forget to ask Grace and Ryan about the pyramids. And then you said that about the pyramids. Well, the reason I'm saying that is because for myself, now, like 3 days ago, Morgan took me through this octahedron activation, and I saw pyramids there. But in the previous week or 10 days, which was actually a very much that period where there was a lot of isolation and expansion ultimately, but it was very intense. I kept getting pyramids. I kept being, which doesn't normally happen to me, especially if I'm a standalone. Like, I never even been to anything like that until I met her. And next thing I know, we're under the pyramids doing work. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? But what I noticed during this 7 to 10 day period, I was being taken repeatedly into the interior of pyramids, and in many cases knew where they were. But is there something to that? Because it felt very much like I would have to say, like, like a pyramid, the pyramid network that's there is coming back online. Does that make any sense to you? I'm just curious.
To me, absolutely, because I mean, it's years back that I've just had visions of it in meditation, where I just see the, like all over the globe, that pyramids just popping up, like from, I mean, I know there's a lot of pyramids hidden in like the Amazon, where there are areas where no human being have ever been. They are like eaten up by the nature. They are hidden, and I mean they so some of them have also been raised into the etheric. Some have been lowered into the astral realms, but so they are on different levels. But I have been seeing them just like popping up all over the earth, and there's this network of pyramids that is just like at a certain point, I think it's just like this network is already there. It's already, fully operational, but it's just not the time yet. But when the time is right, and some of us will have keys to kind of activate them, So that's also why we are sometimes urged to go to certain places where we don't necessarily have to do like big activations and stuff. But because of our presence, when we are old souled and we have been working in many different incarnations, we will have the keys and codes to activate them alone through our presence. So what I'm saying is, I think that there will now, at a certain point when we are ready, there will be this network of pyramids that is this global thing that will just like being click, like it's almost like you turn up the on button and then it's just like then so they are like generators all over the thing, and there will be activation temples and all that, and we will, when we are at that stage, we will have the knowledge, the inherent knowledge of how, because they're instruments, they are activation chambers, they're healing chambers, initiation chambers, all sorts that we, each of us, we have this deep knowledge within ourselves, and there's nothing to, I have to find out, you will know when you are in that frequency, things just, reveal themselves to you so beautiful that you just know, it's nothing, you can't miss it, So, but I've seen pyramids with Ryan and me many times. I also know we've had incarnations in Egypt. We both had visions. But it was just like a few days ago when I told you we were lying awake in bed. We were just, I think, lying arm in arm, holding hands. Yeah. And then I said to you, oh my God. I said,
going to wow. Sleep, and then you
and then I had that vision, and it was so beautiful. It was because normally when you think pyramid, you just think like desert and not green, but it was just lush landscape, very green, palm trees, and many pyramids. There might have been 20 or 30 just in that vision. It was that a city of pyramids, so to say.
Yeah.
You could
there's
say.
Seriously, there's no telling how many pyramids are on this earth, but I bet you it is a boatload.
Yeah, thousands.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
You don't speak about 100, you speak about thousands and thousands. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that's come into my field, but I know one thing, that for it to come in consistently, almost really daily, for the last 10 days or so, it's some kind of information's coming through. That's the way I feel. I don't know what it is. It feels like, it does feel like something's being turned on, and it definitely feels to me like in other words, if and when what I'm getting occurs, there's going to be a substantial increase to the active frequency on the earth. I'm talking about, this is just my own impression, but like I can see it, like literally, if you're not light enough, you just won't be a part of it or something. I don't know what that means, but I can see it. I see it's happened for me, and looking at what's been shown, it's happened many, many times in many, many different periods. And the way it feels to me is like, I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of times. And I don't know how accurate that is, but it just feels like.
But I think that also to come back to the divine couples, that we, like what Ryan, I also have witnessed this, like kind of our energy together. We exchange keys and codes, and then they again can unlock other codes, So we are kind of key together in our energy, that will be activating certain stuff. And it was also like there has been, obviously, especially the many last years, I had many angelic aspects coming in, galactic aspects coming in, ascended masters, and so on. But then after we came together, there were some new aspects, that they, where I got the message, you together, you hold that energy. I wouldn't be able to hold that energy myself.
I think that is the pyramid, right? You two coming together is the Trinity power. It is the physical life. It's no different than building a pyramid, when you think about
because
it.
it's like we are getting the tetrahedron. We are the Merkaba. Our Merkaba's light bodies are, they're merging. Like everything is merging. So we are becoming this vehicle, and this, it's a vehicle. It's a vortex. Yeah, and that's the pyramid. Yeah, that is the pyramidal structure. Yeah, that energy.
And maybe that's what
we embody that.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I'm picking up on. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, I'm just going back to the many sessions I've had with Morgan, and many times it's come into her. This new grid, the footprint element of it is a triangle, and everything's been coming up triangles, and even this activation she took me through 3 or 4 days ago, and that other people have done. I saw it. I wrote it down. I didn't know what it was 2 weeks ago. She got it and told me about it. This Melina's son drew a picture of it. I mean, and what I'm talking about is I watched this like triple octahedron. Mm. So it was an octahedron. The two triangles coming together, the Merkaba. But then there was 2 more.
Yeah.
So one represented masculine, one represented feminine, and then the third one was that third energy.
The energy now, just you talking about it now, I'm just like.
That's.
The energy is just totally firing up now. Just talking about, because I just envisioned these 4 things together. I see it in this. It's multidimensional, and you just speaking about it, I felt an immediate activation, just like the energy just expanding. Did you feel it too?
Yeah, it's coughing.
Yeah. Pamela calls it an icosahedron. I was wondering if it had a name, but that's what I've seen of that. And now having this conversation is actually what's making me remember. What was so impressive to me was when I saw the activation in particular. When I saw it the clearest was when Morgan took me through the activation. Now, I had already had like a familiarity with it, but when the whatever she called it, the icosahedron, the 3 octahedrons in one started to spin, right? The what it emitted. Like, let's say in the old way, it would be whatever it transmitted was like 1 + 1 = 3. But when this emitted, it was exponential. It was like every number had a 3 or a 9. And then in addition to that, you now added that to another number.
Yeah.
And so the end product, like what was on the other side of the equal sign, instead of being 3 was like 30 million or something. And that was just the first one. Because it keeps rippling. So maybe that's
the thing, when we are in this divine connection, the Merkabas connected, and we are really embodying this. You can really raise the frequency. You have an immense field. You can really awaken like 144,000 people. You have that Christ energy vortex that you can actually read. And that's how powerful these fields are. Then we really connect. The soul together.
Yeah. No, right on. I have one more question I have to ask Ryan. Sometimes when you're with someone who's been in past relationships, sometimes they call you by the wrong name. I was just wondering if Grace has mentioned the words Jesus or oh God to you.
A few times. Yeah.
There's some other names.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
We've had a few for sure.
I'm just playing with you.
Yeah.
Paul said that
Baba. I know Ryan as Baba, and I'm Amrita. Baba, and
Amrita.
It's like a yogi lifetime.
Yeah, it's some kind of yogi lifetime, and it's very strong. We have really huge releases around this, and I know that we were together. We were practicing very, very high Tantra, and we could prolong our life. We could do all this stuff. We did all this stuff. But at a certain point, I had to leave before Ryan. I can literally see him sitting there. Oh my God. sitting there, and but I had to leave. You're speaking about mission. You're speaking about the, I had to leave him at that point. I had to be the one leaving first. And though I could prolong my life, was not allowed to do it any longer because I had something, whatever to do, which I don't remember what was. Yeah. But I remember that that total unity, oneness that that we had in that. And I know we got very, very old. We were very old.
Yeah.
And you've had some huge releases also around that.
Yeah, the first night that it kind of came through for both of us, we were obviously virtual. And I got hit just so hard I had to go in the other room, and it's probably the strongest I've ever cried. I mean, I think I was screaming and wailing like somebody had just passed, and it was continual. I mean, I had to clear this, we both did, but it was really, really hard for me, and it took at least a couple of months, if not longer.
Yeah.
And I've always had that fear of losing her, it's the deep fear of loss. But then when those aspects came in, there was a little more tangible piece to it that we could both remember. And it was really difficult, but it was something that had to be, so it kind of came before Egypt, because
that was before Egypt. Yeah.
It was something that had to go.
Before. Well, I think there's definitely some type of karmic realignment in some of these situations. I know I felt it, and things that we've experienced told me the history, or so to speak. But and and again, it's so much like the individual.
But another thing, if I might just continue that, because we're speaking about previous lifetimes and so on, or karma and all that, that what we have been experiencing is also what is really incredible, because we had many insights to previous life without always knowing specific details, but you just, you have the inner knowing, it, you feel it, you have the intuition and all that. But what is the amazing thing that we feel about each other is just the incredible purity, the incredible that we have never hurt each other. It sounds incredible, but it's just like, that's why we can trust each other so much that there's just no negative karma there. I didn't know that was possible, but that's really, I mean, I haven't seen anything till now. I mean, I was obviously have been presented with it if it has been there, and you have the same feeling. It's just like we have never like spilled blood on each other. We've never really.
I don't get that from Morgan and I. I think it's more of like I remember when she first came to Houston, and I really hadn't shared dimensional experiences with anybody because I didn't even know people did that. And so, like in the first few days, she came in. I remember her. Oh, actually, it was on the phone. It was before she came, and she said to me one night, "Why did you always leave?" And in that moment, I got all these flashes of, and it was typical. It was, I'm going to war. I'm going to, But ultimately, it was because I didn't love myself, And so I don't mean like I've met friends, like my friend Zavetta Da Vinci. We both got immediately when she chopped my head off one time back in the medieval days, So I mean, it's not, but I mean, what I was trying to say is that there are these things. I just had one recently involving like child molestation, child rape, child sexual assault, but it was all lineage, really. And I'm going, why is this coming up? And it was just explained, well, it's coming up so the code beneath it can be released. So when you got two people like yourself, not only do you have the individual codes being open, but then you have this connectivity with this other person you've had lifetimes with. And then there's a boatload, there's a shift load.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and it just feels so ancient, like there's no words. We always say it's like the beginning of time or something. It just seems so ancient, Yeah.
It's it is. God, what were we talking about like a month ago? And I said, because she said, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. And then I wrote back and I said, or maybe it's what we want to make it. Because I remember last week going through my own internal stuff, and this was after we came into realignment, after that isolation period that a lot of people actually talked about. And I came back in, and I remember being shown, oh yeah, you're like click, 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 all the way down, click, click, click. Now, that doesn't mean that doesn't guarantee you anything on the human level. This is where the God magic is. This is where creation is. It's what do you want to make with it? So it's not like predestination or predetermination, but there is a plan and there is a template. And I think the higher self's objective is to vibrationally reach us and raise us by our own free will choice, obviously, to keep us open to the cookie crumbs, the trail home, the synchronicities and stuff.
Yeah. Mm.
Now, you guys just blown my third eye open. I got to go do another show now. Two more. I'm all hot and sweaty, and I'm wondering why. I must be picking up on your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Well, I'm so happy that you guys decided to get dressed for the first time in 9 days and join us on stage. It's a wonderful thing. I mean, you guys could have actually just sit there and said nothing. All we have to do is stare at you. It's incredible. I love you both, but I'm particularly happy for my sister because I've known her obviously much longer than 2.5, 3 years, but
many.
I don't have to say anything. I think you know what I'm getting at. So I'm happy. I'm very happy to see this energy continue to expand because it only makes sense to me. You can only get beyond the two if you go to the two first. That's the most powerful connection we have is the one to the two.
Yeah.
Because it's core. It's core, other than our own. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Love you too, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
Our love to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for sharing because that's not a real easy thing all the time. And even the times before when you came on and things weren't as, as working in your favor, so to speak, or whatever. But yeah, look how things work out. Thank you for being persistent and representing and repping.
We cannot, there's no other way. We cannot not.
Full force.
Full force. Yeah.
My last question, Ryan, are you exercising? Are you eating well? Staying safe? Keep your stamina up.
Oh yeah, doing it. Yeah, for sure. Minimal, but yeah.
I'll see y'all later.
This energy is the best exercise. It's just like it's rejuvenating. It's rejuvenating.
Yeah, actually, I'm eating so much less because there's just no need for it.
Exactly.
If I'm by myself and I think, and I should go eat again or do this, and
man, you guys take care. Best of your kids too. Love you.
Love you.